Thank you to all of those who have come to this specific channel for this specific message. Today's message comes from Spirit directly and refers to the ongoing plight of displacement and involuntary, even forced migration of individuals across planet Earth. The idea of national borders is, in fact, an illusion created by man to maintain the semblance of control over populations, cultures, and paradigms. However, we also wish to be very clear in saying that the idea of holding borders sacred also holds great truths in it. However, it is misrepresented and often misunderstood in human interaction. So, for instance, the borders that were created with political and power in mind often do not account for histories of populations, teachings that populations carry, and paradigms that could help others to achieve higher purpose and their highest potential in this life. No, in fact, political borders are usually drawn to separate and create division between often very complementary world views and potentials of community building. Therefore, while we do not agree with the sentiment that political borders are the one and all, the power structure, and also the stabilizer of countries' economies, we must also say that borders, the creation of different groups, are simply there to encourage the wandering out of group and the wandering into other group, so as to learn new lessons. It is a faulty human conception that safety lies in staying in the within group, to not engage with others or the unknown. You see this very often in religious paradigms, where it is of great condemnation for those who are from a specific church to wander and explore other churches, or even worse, in some cases, explore other religions, quote unquote. So the idea here is borders are there for a reason. They create safety and the stability needed to learn specific lessons. But once those lessons are learned, the idea is that you cross borders freely at your own volition and in your own timing to join other groups, other cultures, other countries, other belief systems, to learn lessons that will help you evolve beyond what you have mastered already. That is not to say that one is lower or higher than the other. That is not to say that the lessons you learned in the past are of less importance. No, since they all built who you have become, they must be stable within you for you to be able to receive the lessons of who you are evolving into. What this also means is that you are more willing and capable to release the, call them stagnant or fixed approaches of your old beliefs and lessons. Those that you have mastered have often already fulfilled their purpose in you and are now asking to be evolved by you while you adapt and adopt new belief systems. So while some of these things you will throw out of your life entirely, some of these you can cherry pick and bring back in evolved forms. Going back to the understanding of national borders and the involuntary forced migration and displacement of many individuals across this planet, there is great tragedy that comes with forced migration. There is great pain, loss, and violence with displacement, whether it be due to lack of resources, due to severe earthly tragedies such as weather, heat waves, or tremors and tsunamis, whether it be due to man-made faults and political persecution or religious persecution. Any forced movement brings great pain to individuals. We see and witness these happenings across the earth with great empathy and compassion. Again, we clarify, empathy is not sympathy. Sympathy is feeling for someone. Empathy is feeling with someone. The problem with sympathy is that one attaches very closely to someone's journey and someone else's pain. This can be very jarring to your own process and journey. Sometimes humanity mistakes sympathy for the correct reaction to people's pain. But if it inhibits you from becoming your own highest version, if it inhibits you from becoming healthy, balanced, and truly reaching into your inner authentic self, then it has missed its point. Empathy, on the other hand, what it does is that it allows you to feel with people. You see their circumstances, you see their pain. You feel with them and accompany them as equal partners. Individuals that can stand the ground of safety, security, and stability while individuals suffer. Yes, this is even energetically the case when you do not know the people that are suffering. When you do watch the news and see all of these individuals, the refugees displaced, you can hold your ground and feel with them in stability and in love. For the reality is that energetically, if you were to drown yourself in sympathy, drown yourself in their pain, and feel so much that it inhibits your own potential, your own stability and strength, when it debilitates you, you are dragging these individuals further down with you. This is the reality of energetic vibration and co-opulation across this universe. So if you were given the privilege of not being displaced as a refugee, not having to forcefully move countries, cultures, or religions, then yes, stay informed about peoples who do go through these pains, but also stay stable in the privilege of the peace and stability that you live in your life. Hold the ground, send love to them, to yourself, to the world. You have the capacity to do so. They may not, because they are in survival mode. So you do your job and stay stable. Stay in your own well-being, in your authentic self-expression. Bring joy into your life because you were given the privilege to experience joy when many others on this earth currently do not have that privilege. So hold the ground. Do not drag the rest of us down, the rest of us who are already suffering. And again, we say this with great compassion because humanity has been programmed to suffer and to suffer and to suffer and to adopt other people's suffering as if it is the righteous thing to do. So we understand that this may trigger many of you listening. We understand that this may sound contradictory to all the messages that you have received across religions. But we also encourage you, if any of this rings true in you, if something in you feels the burden of breaking down under the weight of this world, if something within you is exhausted of having to see and burn under the fires that others have put, then we speak to that specific part of you and say, it is okay, it is all right to stand your ground and to lean into the peace that you have given the privilege to experience in this lifetime and day and age. That being said, coming back to the topic of displacement. When refugees are across the world running to hopefully better lives and often finding worse lives where they go, we send our greatest strengths to you. We send our greatest guardian angels to you. We feel with you. It is not an easy task. It is not an easy life. It is not an easy experience to live through. Know that when tomorrow comes, new changes will have manifested on earth. And for many of you who are listening to this today, as you look into the world, into the negative news that have inundated your consciousnesses. We also send our compassion and our courage. We send you abilities to be able to transmute these negative emotions, to let them flow in and out of you without being stuck in your bodies and your consciousness. We appreciate the work you have done so far, the changes that you have flown with. We appreciate when you follow the messages and the mastery of new beliefs, new life lessons. Pursue those with conviction and with peace, and rest where you must. It is good to continue growing, even through the growing pains. But it is also good to rest. The growing pains must numb out here and there in order for your growing process not to break you. We send our regards and much love. Goodbye.